Okay, I'm going to do a little bit, just to show a little bit on this Chicago Northwestern. This is the newer generation Proto RDC-1000. The coaches are shinier, and they're also DCC ready. Now, I've already pretty well gutted this thing, but I wanted to show you the board that comes with it. And of course, I just put on with clips. And the problem with this board is it has so much on it. If you look through it with the light, you can see there's just hardly any place that you have left to install lights like I like to do. So what I do is I take a piece of basswood and I've cut it the same shape, put the holes exactly where they're supposed to be, and I put sticker paper on both sides, which makes it basically more stable. It's not going to warp with moisture or anything. I've installed, as you can see, 4 1.5 volt clear bulbs. It fits right in. I've soldered the wires onto these things to go to the decoder, and in a few minutes I'll get some more of this done, and I'll show you now. These wires that come into it, like this really small wire right here, they're really small and they're very short. As you can see, it just barely comes out. So I'm going to take this off. I'll relubricate the gears while I have it off. This is a brand new coach. But I want to take and if you look underneath here, you'll see that this has, like a lot of them anymore, it has these little clips. You can see it in there with the wire coming down to it. So I want to take that off and redo it, which I intend to do. And when I get it apart, I'll show you real quick. I don't want to make this a very long video. Okay, just real quick here. I've got this apart. Now this gear right here has the original grease, but it's really kind of thick. And I'm going to redo it. Now I've already taken the clip off this one so you can see where the metal is. And I'm going to solder a new wire back on there. So it looked like this before, with the wire clipped on it. Got a little too close. With the wire clipped on it, as you can see, wherever it went to. So we're going to do it now. This grease in this thing is quite thick, and there's quite a bit of it in there. So I'm going to take this apart and clean these gears off, but you can see the grease right there. That's not really necessary. They all do it. I don't care if it's Athearn or Proto or any of them. Some of them come in with a little bit more than others. So it's just no more than taking these 2 screws out, taking it apart, cleaning the gears with soap and water and a toothbrush. I use the conductors. Makes your teeth really shiny later. Then I'll solder the new wires on and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, it's all clean. As you can see, it's nice in there. And what I use is Label 108, and I also use this KD Greasem. This is a graphite that I put in it. I had forgotten, I had to be reminded, these things don't take solder at all. So I put the new wires on and then put the clips back on them. They should be fine. I did it totally different than what they do, but and of course I've got the black and red, and the red will go on the white track and the black on the left track, just like they do. Anyway, basically the nice thing about using this system is trying to do it left-handed, and sorry about the jiggling around, but they're just so easy to roll once you get them like that. So time to put it all back together and get to putting it in the decoder. Quick progress report. I've got the I take the capacitor off and I mount it right up here. I use the clothespin to hold it in place while the adhesive will cure. I've installed some people inside. As you can see, the lights are wired. The green is going to go to F1, the blue is the common positive. You can also see the red and black as the pickups, so it'll be pigtailed into the front ones and put to the decoder. Inside I've installed the speaker. It's in a small enclosure that was a medicine medicine type bottle that's been shaped to fit right in that area, and it just gives it enough room. I use clothespins to hold things in place. I use clothespins a lot, including even these small ones to absorb the heat on the capacitors and the diodes and resistors to protect them, even the light bulbs. I've installed the rear light, as you can see. It's the same as this one right here. It's a 3 to 4 volt Miniatronics yellow glow. And then I take a piece of shrink and cut it, as you can see, like right here. It's kind of hard to see, but it basically keeps the light from going. And on this newer generation, they even put a shield over the light itself to keep the light from going down into the cab, which is kind of nice. I was using either paint or liquid tape to do the same thing. So, a little more soldering and a little bit more work, and we'll have this thing pretty well. Okay, she's ready to test. I've got her on the test track. It's my program track too. That white stuff you see around the headlight, that's Super RC-Z56. I use that. It's really a good, it's basically an adhesive, but the nice thing is it never really gets hard. And as you can see, in a couple areas down here on the wires, I've used it again just to hold the wires in place, like right here and right here. And that's all notched out. The wires are kind of where I don't have to worry about them. I'll secure these later. I don't have the speaker hooked up, but we'll see. We'll test it real quick just to see if it's going to work. Sorry about the wobbling. It's in forward, and the light has come on, and it goes forward, and we'll put it in reverse, and the light comes on, and we'll back it up. Like I said, I don't have the speaker hooked up. Now, the way DIGITRAX does their decoder, F1 is the green wire that I hooked in, and it's worked up with the bell, so it's on F1, but the green wire can be reprogrammed. You'll see that on the functional code page. I think it's page 50, DIGITRAX manual. So it'll go to, I'll change it to 3 later on because I don't use 3 on this thing. But so there's the lights. They turn on, as you can see. And I think you can see there's 3 470 ohm resistors. These are 1.5 volt, but there's 4 of them, which makes it almost 6 volts. So they're not incredibly bright. Again, the headlight and backlight are the Miniatronics yellow glow, 3 to 4 volt. So they also use the 470 ohm resistor. And I think you can see that I've got the capacitor there. I've got part of a clothespin under. I'm kind of raising it up just to get it to clear the truck a little bit more. And that RC-Z56 will cure. And it's really easy to remove later with a debonder. And I use Great Plains debonder, but whatever you like to use. But that RC-Z56, man, I really like that stuff. One place I can find it is on eBay. So it's a little pricey, but a little bit goes a long ways. And while we're talking about a little bit going a long ways, the solder I use is, I've shown this a lot, but it's this mechanics solder. And it's a paste, and it's a lead tin combination. And it's just the handiest thing in the world. I really like it. So anyway, that's it for now. We'll put this all together in a little bit, and then we'll get the speakers hooked up. I'm going to have to put the chains on the cab, on the shell. I put chains back here. It doesn't come with those, but I bought the chains, and I drill the holes, and I take little bitty wires and make like hinges or clips, and then I hook the chains in, and it looks a lot more realistic. Okay, and you'll see that when I'm done with it. Got the speaker wired. Got the chains put on, both ends. Put an engineer in each end. You can just barely see them there. So I'm going to put her together, and we'll put her on the rails and see what she looks like and sounds like. Okay, so let's fire it up. I take it the address on Miss Listen to her horn. And again, I have not reprogrammed this thing yet, and I probably won't before I get it sold. But when you turn on the bell, right now the F1 off the DIGITRAX decoder also controls the interior lights. It's in reverse. Just turned your lights on. Put her in forward. And for some reason the light doesn't want to work, so I got to open it back up again, I guess. Because the light ought to be working. It was working before, and now it's not, so I did something when I put it together. So I'll fix that before I put it on the market. I really like the sounds of these things. So that'll be it for now.